Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. I'm Charlie Hannema with the head coach of the now 9-0 #1 Broken Arrow Tigers, right, David Alexander. Coach, thanks for being here.
Of course, Charlie.
Guys are keeping it rolling again.
Yeah, we are. Fantastic trip. Most proud I've been of a team in a long time. 3 trips to the west side of the state, long bus rides. You worry as a coach about focus. You're playing a team that you're better than. Right, and so you've got some built-in excuses there, but this team so far has just refused to accept any excuse or look for any disadvantage. They've come off the bus and out of the locker room every week, ready to play football.
Broken Arrow coming off a 56-0 win over Edmond Memorial. That was last Thursday. We've got another Thursday night game back at home against Enid coming up on this Thursday, like I just said. That's a lot of Thursdays.
It's been a lot of Thursdays.
And it's been a long time since we've been back at the Woodshed, too. Right. That's since homecoming against Westmore.
Yeah, it's been a month since we've got a home game. And, man, I'm telling you what, I don't know if anybody's more excited about being home than I am. I'm sure the kids are. I'm sure the players are. And I'm sure the jungle is. It's been a long time. But it'll be great. It's going to be senior night. We're going to celebrate those seniors. This is obviously a really group that I'm especially proud of, and some of the stuff they've done, especially on the leadership side. So let's celebrate these guys with a big win.
Beginning of the season, and even going back to the past couple of years, I know you've said this a lot, that it's going to take a special senior group to break Broken Arrow through and kind of get over the hump. And it seems like we found one.
Well, we have, right? And what I've always meant by that is, not listen to the noise. The noise of no one's done it. Your uncle couldn't do it. Your dad couldn't do it. Your older brother couldn't do it, right? Every game and every situation and every year is different. And it was going to take a group of seniors that were going to have to listen to each other and what they were saying in the locker room than the noise from outside the locker room. And this group, since day one, since back in the winter when we started working out, has just focused on the next activity, the next play, the next game.
Broken Arrow is 9-0 for the first time in more than 70 years. The Tigers can go to 10-0 Thursday night against the Enid Plainsmen. We'll take a timeout here on Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. Coming up next, we'll look back at last week's big 56-0 win over Edmond Memorial. This is Broken Arrow Football.
The Tigers of 1929 tied for the Oil Valley Conference lead with rival Bixby Spartans. Broken Arrow's only loss coming at the hands of the Spartans, who finished their schedule with 2 ties and no losses. Apparently, Bixby wanted no more of our Tigers that year, as they refused a challenge from Broken Arrow after the season to play off the tie. This great moment in Tiger history is brought to you by First National Bank of Broken Arrow, a loyal fan of our community for over 100 years. First National Bank of Broken Arrow, the right balance.
My dad's always saying a little extra effort now will really pay off later. Here's how you can put in just a little extra effort and help out our schools in a big way. Just switch your checking account to TTCU. It's easy. You get $150 just for switching. And every time you use your school pride card, TTCU donates to our schools. So far, over $1 million. They're the only ones doing that. So make the switch to TTCU and be the person who's making a difference for our schools.
Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib is brought to you in part by St. John Broken Arrow, Tulsa Bone and Joint, TTCU Federal Credit Union, First National Bank of Broken Arrow, the Arrow Group, and Matthews Ford. Thank you all for your support of Tiger Football and Broken Arrow Public Schools. Charlie Hannema and Coach Alexander back with you on the show. Broken Arrow 9-0, looking to go to 10-0 against Enid on Thursday night. Coach, last week down there at Edmond, 56-0 win, and you guys got after it from the very beginning.
We did. We talked about in the first segment, this group is really focused. There's, travel on the west side. There's an opportunity to build an excuse in there. But, man, the game plan was, as we're going to talk to Matt Kaiser here in a minute, we wanted to get him going, and we wanted to get, take a couple shots early. We knew we had a little advantage out there with him. And again, we could talk about the offense and how many points we're putting up on the board, but the defense, wow. another explosive performance out of them as well.
You get a 3-and-out to start the game, and then you fire one off early. That great catch by Kaiser, and then run the bootleg to Kaiser Newell.
Yeah.
How about that? We got that formation, and we were thinking, here's the Newell fullback dive again, up and over the pile, and you split them out.
Well, hey, you got to make it tough to scout, and you got to spread the team. You got to spread the field out. Even if you have a bunched-in, packed formation, you got to make them defend from sideline to sideline. Kaiser Newell is, for a man that's 250 pounds, he's surprisingly nimble and he got great hands, and we want to reward him for playing 75 plays a game. He's playing defense every snap and then ramming his head against defensive ends. We run the power, so he deserved that touchdown.
Next drive, right back to Broken Arrow. It's Cortez, a 15-yard touchdown run. 6-play drive makes it 14-0, and we've just seen Noah do that all year.
Yeah, man, he was really focused. Before the game and pregame warm-ups, he's like, Coach, let's just go ahead and get the record. Let's get the record tonight. I want to run for 300. I'm like, Noah, I'm not sure there'll be enough plays in the game for you to get to 300 because, the way this should go if we play like Broken Arrow Tigers. But he was fired up and ready to go. But he's our man, right? He's got the big heart. He's the emotional leader. And, everybody looks for him to go play extremely well every game night.
We'd have to check the official stats, but with 26 touchdowns this season, you almost think probably half of those he wasn't even touched. I mean, you run this power up the middle, and it just sees part, and he's gone.
And you can credit that to, already talked about Kaiser Newell. You credit those big holes to the offensive line and Kaiser Newell. Man, and especially you play a team. You play a team like Edmond Memorial for that's who we just played. They cannot simulate our physicality in practice. You're going against a scout team, right? They have this great success trying to stop the power, and then all of a sudden Andrew Rame and Kane Robinson and Thorwell Banks and Burkhart Smyer and big Kaiser Newell come in there and start mowing you off the football. It's really difficult.
Absolutely. After that, it was the Quintevin Cherry show. A couple of cherry bombs, a 4-yard run, 41-yard run. That made it 28-0 early in the second quarter.
Well, people ask who's your backup tailback. We give a couple of different guys the football, but really Q's our backup tailback. He's doing it he's our wildcat, he's our cherry formation. But what makes it so difficult, not only is our backup tailback and he's running the football, but he can throw it, and it just makes it very, very difficult to defend.
Cherry's up to 602 yards on the year, 9 touchdowns, averaging 8.7 yards per carry.
It's a good average.
He's tough.
He's almost the biggest guy on the football field. He's 6'4.5", almost 6'5", 215 pounds, and he's nimble and he's big and he's smart, and he's a leader. And you add all those combinations together, and so the offensive line and those guys that are blocking for him want to play hard. The Matt Kaisers and Colton Fairs and Logan Matthews, they want to block out there. Isaiah Keller. So it's a great combination out there, and he's really rolling along.
I'm going to kind of throw the clock back about 15 years on Q, go to the Big 12, the Missouri Tigers, Brad Smith, because they kind of have the same stride where when you watch from up high, it doesn't look like he's going full speed almost because he's just so smooth, but all of a sudden he's 10 yards past everybody. And those guys are pumping their arms. You can tell they're busted. And Q he looks like he could just keep running 500 yards and just be fine.
He could, and he's a long strider is what coaches and track coaches talk about. He's a long strider, covers a lot of ground, not a lot of leg turnover. So, when you see him run, when the camera is just up close on him and it's not into scale, right, all you see is the leg turnover. It's not that quick. But then you widen out and he's pulling away from everybody on the defense. It's pretty cool.
Q's 2 touchdowns made it 28-0, like we said. Then it was back to Noah, a 29-yard run to make it 35-0. And then Tate Robart started dialing up the passing again. 21-yard touchdown to Kaiser that was great. And Dax Wilson with a touchdown catch. How about that?
Well, you don't see that coming, right? Dax, played offensive line last year. He's our tight end. And obviously, we like to put him over there next to Rame and knock people down. But all the credit goes to the quarterback, right? Tate making a good read. Right, we're not going to throw it to Dax very much. So they came down hard on the fullback, and they covered the receiver in the back of the end zone, and Dax is open. Great throw and catch for a touchdown.
Final touchdown there was another one from Robards to that one's from Q. Sorry, the last one was from Q to Colton Fair.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him getting kind of worked in the last couple of games.
Hey, Colton, not only to make a good catch, but the best part of the play was 2 parts. Right, was Q. Colton was not the main read; he was the check down. Q steps up in the pocket, right? Lets everything happen. Finds the check down over to Colton Fair, and then Colton Fair breaking that guy's ankles and getting the end zone for a touchdown.
Pretty impressive performance for the Tigers. 56 points in the first 3 quarters. They went running clock after halftime,
Right.
and it was over in a hurry. The team stats also just, I mean, you look at these and it's pick one. I mean, yards
Right.
per play, 9.7 yards per play. I mean, that's
a good average. You're going to get first downs. You do that, right? You're
Right.
going to move the football. I love the third down conversions, both offensively and defensively. And we had in the one we didn't get. Well, we were 8 for 10 on third down, but we went for both those for fourth down. The only one we didn't get was in the fourth quarter when we've got all our backups in the game.
right. Every drive your starting offense had ends in a touchdown, and
Right.
you say that, and then you think about what that actually means and how likely that is in football. Every drive ends in a touchdown, and you kind of just shake your head a little bit.
Yeah, it's not very likely. It doesn't happen very often. Probably hardly ever. But we're so diverse. We've got Matt Kaiser and Colton Fair on the outside, and Isaiah Keller and Trayvon Client on the inside, and you got Big Noah and Q running the football, and it's a big package. You've got to defend the whole football field.
Your defense, I know you mixed in a lot of guys, so
Right.
you look at the stats, and individually not a ton of standouts or
Right.
turnovers this week, but Ryan Barwig getting some time with 4.5 tackles. He had a tackle for loss. Colton Collier continues to be solid. He had 4 in a TFL, and you just kind of get to work some of those guys in because you never know who you're going to need
Sure.
when you go into the playoffs.
Well, this is how programs are built, right? When you're able to play your backups significant amount of time on a Thursday night or Friday night, whatever the varsity game night is, get those snaps when they're on the field, away from the coaches, crowds, and bands going on. That's how your programs are built. Those guys next year that are going to be starters, it won't be any shock to their system the first time they walk on the field for a varsity football game.
And let's go back to your offense a little bit. I know you mixed in some youngsters too, and
Yeah.
what I like, what you guys will do sometimes is you'll keep that number one offensive line out there and
Right.
work in some younger quarterbacks and
Right.
tailbacks, so they get a little bit of an adjustment period before it's everybody new out
Right.
there. Because a lot of these teams we've seen, we'll go 2, 3, 4, but they'll keep the ones out there even though it's out of hand.
Yeah, the last 3 games, right? They kept the other teams kept their first defense in there when we subbed out, and hey, they want to have some success. I can't really fault them. But that's why we've kept, most of our offensive line out there. You kept Tyler Siebert and those guys out there. You want the Keon Barnetts to see what it's like to get some blocking. You want to see Julian Mosley feels like when there's some blocking out there. Right? And you want those quarterbacks to be able to, if you want to throw the football, you want to have a pocket, right? Because UConn started blitzing. We brought in our backups, right? And Edmond Memorial did the same thing, started blitzing, trying to have some success. So you give your offensive line out there, give them a little blocking, see if they can complete a couple passes.
I love it. Broken Arrow 9-0 on the season. Don't forget, Tigers back at home Thursday night, senior night against the Enid Plainsmen. We'll take a timeout, catch up with Matt Kaiser in our player segment. This is Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib.
In the folded flag, we see the heavy price of freedom. Nearly 9 out of 10 dependents of America's fallen and disabled soldiers do not qualify for federal scholarship assistance. The Folds of Honor closes that gap, already providing over 10,000 scholarships. Join us in this noble mission. Donate today at foldsofhonor.org. This is your call to duty.
My kids had just recovered from being sick, and I found myself sick. And it was time for me to get the care that I needed, and I didn't want to get the kids out of the house, so I used St. John On Demand.
St. John Clinic On Demand is our innovative 24/7 virtual care clinic. It's accessible from your phone, from a tablet, or from your computer anytime.
I registered for the appointment on my phone and visited with a provider and had a prescription called in for me all within an hour.
So the type of patient that would use this service is someone that has a minor illness. Angela's case is a perfect use of our services. We came to her in her time of need versus her having to come for us.
St. John On Demand is such a great alternative to loading the kids up, getting them to the doctor's office, waiting in the waiting room. So now I'm healthy, my kids are healthy, and I will definitely use St. John On Demand again.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. Time now for our player segment, and we're joined this week by senior wide receiver Matt Kaiser. Matt, great game last week, 5 catches, 110 yards, had that 21-yard touchdown catch there in the second quarter. Just tell me how you're feeling going into senior night here Thursday against Enid.
Going into senior night, I mean, we're pretty confident. 9-0, we're trying to improve our first goal of going 10-0 in regular season games, and that's going to be our goal, and we're just getting ready for playoffs in this game.
Have you thought about what that senior night ceremony is going to be like? I know you've seen it a couple times when you've got teammates out there, but going through it yourself, what's that going to be like?
Yeah, I've been through it twice with both my older brothers, and it's going to be emotional for my parents because I'm the last one to go through it, but it'll be pretty cool.
Coach, what's senior night like for you?
Senior night's awesome. Just like everything we do here at Broken Arrow, homecoming and all the activities, we really do senior night up well. And it will be emotional. It'll be emotional for everybody. Players like Matt, who've been here and grown up with the Broken Arrow football program, right? He watched his older brother Drew and then Gage go through this. He's talking about it, so he's obviously thinking about it. But he comes out of the tunnel, right, and they announce his name and talks about what he wants to do and play and what his goals and aspirations are, and his mom and dad go shake all the coaches' hands. He'll be pretty proud, but it'll be emotional.
Give us a little sneak preview at that. I know it's a little early to figure out, college, where you want to go, but have you thought about what you might want to study or what a career might look like someday?
I really haven't decided between baseball and football yet, but my career, I'm thinking about some environmental science, something in that area.
How'd you get interested in that?
I like to hunt a lot, so that's just always been what I like to do. So, I mean, just want to keep up with that.
Sure.
I like it. The sciences, I like that.
Right.
Coach, smart guy.
We're talking with Matt Kaiser here on Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Take me back last week to that one-handed catch you hauled in. Just walk me through what you remember of that play.
Man, I just remember coming out, I think it was like the third play or something like that.
Yeah.
And I knew we were going to take a shot the first couple plays, so I just had to hit another gear and make that play.
Coach, what was your view on that?
Well, my view wasn't very good. Because I got my vision got obscured by all the linemen, everybody getting in the way. But all I saw was the referee's hands go up, and then Matt's helmet go rolling out of the back of the end zone. So I'm like, all right, first off, make sure his head's not in there, right? And I had no idea how good of a catch it was until after the game. Really, I didn't see the replay. Right? We don't have any replays on the sidelines. I just knew Matt made a great catch. And his helmet came off. They put the ball down to the 1 yard line, so we didn't have a whole lot of time to celebrate. We had to go run another play. Matt came to the sidelines, making sure all those pieces and parts were still in place and get his helmet fixed.
Tate Robards, your quarterback, one of them, 10 of 13, 194 yards, 3 scores last week. Q's been solid all year too. Just what's it like when you are a receiver and you're working with 2 quarterbacks frequently? It's not like normally it's one and then you see the other one, and at mop-up time, how do you balance both those guys?
I mean, it was difficult in the beginning because getting a rhythm was kind of tough, but as the seasons kind of came, it's gotten pretty easy. Honestly, they both got their rhythms now, and we're just hooking up every week.
What was it like the first couple of times you tried to catch one from Q? Because we watched him throw some rockets.
Yeah, he definitely spins the ball well. Like he's got some power behind the ball every time he throws it.
Catch you off guard a little bit this summer?
Yeah.
How'd you adjust to that?
This summer, dude, it was a lot of adjustments because Tate he doesn't have that much spin on it, but Q, he rips it back there. And 7-on-7, we were just having to adjust all of our receivers, and Coach Cochran was talking us through just catching the point of the ball, and that's all we had to work on really.
I know that 7-on-7 tournament in Arkansas where you guys came back to win and played a whole bunch of games, and what was that, a day or two to get all that back to the championship? How important was that for this receiving core and these quarterbacks, knowing that you had 2 new guys to work with this year?
It was good. I mean, it really was just about us growing up as a receiving core and really just yeah. So that was just about it.
Downfield blocking seems to always be one of your things. I mean, great catches, obviously, but you look at big runs, and there's 26 just destroying some poor defensive back 40 yards from the line of scrimmage. Right. Take me through that mindset, because I know coaches always teach that, but not every receiver does that as well as you do and as often as you do.
I've kind of learned that, like, even on the run plays, if you destroy your corner, he's not going to want to guard you. So it makes it easier to run routes whenever they're scared to touch you or whatever. So it's pretty easy whenever you do that.
I love it. I love that answer. Matt, when he was young, he had a pretty good guy to watch doing that, in Samuel Kim. We talked about Andrew being an athlete trapped in a a big man's body, and and it's a compliment. And I say the same thing about Matt, and he's heard me say that. He grew up with two defensive linemen as brothers. He's got a lineman's mentality. Man, he wants to bury people. He wants to be more physical. He wants to out-tough them. It's just that he's 6'3.5", 197 pounds as a wide receiver, he's got the full package: catch, run, block. I'm sure he could play just about any place we ask him to put on the football field.
Matt, tell me about this season and this team. What's it like being on the ground, part of a team that's 9-0, and really it seems like everything is just running smoothly?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's fun to go out every day at practice knowing that we're the best team and we still got to work. I mean, we got guys like Gavin Potter. He's always hyping us up every day at practice, still just to get us locked in and stay on track.
Love it. Matt, thanks for your time. Good luck on senior night. It's been fun watching you for the last 3 years or so, and I know we hopefully have, four more games to take it in. So, Matt, thanks for being here. He's getting $25 to Rib Crib as part of appearing on our player segment. We'll take a timeout. Coach Alexander and I'll be back to wrap it up and look at the Enid Plainsmen after this.
The 1982 Pride of Broken Arrow Marching Band had a spectacular and rewarding year. Led by senior drum major Paul Gerder and junior drum major Mindy Denton, the Pride and its members practiced relentlessly with the utmost determination and won the sweepstakes of the Midwest Championship in the Colorado Marching Band competition, which was truly a great honor and led many to declare the Pride the grandest band in the land. This great moment in Tiger history is brought to you by First National Bank of Broken Arrow, a loyal fan of our community for over 100 years. First National Bank of Broken Arrow, the right balance.
My name is Abigail Bailey. I was at my yearly checkup when I was 12, and we went and got x-rays, and she diagnosed me with scoliosis and that we needed surgery as soon as possible.
Tulsa Bone and Joint was very compassionate. They took their time with us. They answered questions. He was very encouraging.
Dr. Clark helped me see that there is life after spinal fusion. Just because your spine is fused doesn't mean that you can't do what you love to do.
Final segment here on Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib, Charlie Hannema, and Coach David Alexander. The Enid Plainsmen come to town Thursday night. It's been a little bit of a struggle for them this year. They're the smallest enrollment in 6A1, just got bumped up this year. So, I mean, you know what it's like building programs.
Sure.
They're overmatched,
it's
but
tough. It's very tough. This is their first year to be in 6A1. You go from playing teams that, you're the biggest school in the district, in the conference, and, now they're the smallest, having a weight program at the junior high level and having a junior high program that can go be successful. And now everything switches over in a matter of months. And they're struggling. There's no doubt about it. They've had a tough time. They've got 62 players on their roster. This weekend at the coaching meeting, they have 6 guys that start both sides of football, and that's never a very good formula when you go play, Broken Arrow, and you got Jinx in your district, and you got Edmond Santa Fe, where you've only those 3 teams have only got 1, maybe 2 guys playing both ways. The Edmond Santa Fe's, the Jinx, the Broken Arrow. We don't get our kids don't get tired, and those kids are having to stay on the football field, and it's been a rough year for them.
Senior night though for us.
Yeah.
Thursday night, it'll be great. Kickoff is at 7. So, take us through that senior night ceremony. It's before the game.
Yeah.
When should we have fans make sure they're in their seats to see that?
Yeah. Well, first off, it's senior week for me, right? We have something every day after practice for the seniors. We had an ice cream bar for them last night. We got a big dinner, sit-down dinner tonight for them, and then Wednesday morning we'll have a breakfast for the seniors. So we do it up right, and then. Senior night, it'll be right before the game. We'll go ahead and do our normal warm-up. We might get done about 5 minutes earlier. So if you've got a friend that's a senior football player and you want to get there and see him, you need to be there by 6:30 in your chair. Because at 6:30 we'll blow the tunnel up that we run out for, put it on the 50-yard line, and we'll introduce the seniors and their guests, right, which is family guests, parent or an uncle or whoever they want to walk with out
Wives.
there. Right. Yeah, well.
Probably not.
I'm trying to think. Do we have any wives? I don't think we have any wives. But it wouldn't surprise anybody.
Yeah.
So we do it right, and our announcer, Larry does such a great job, and he talked about kids, what they want to do in college, and their fondest memory of high school. So then shake all their hands and make sure we celebrate their careers.
Health-wise, how are you guys coming into this one? I know Machoda's a little banged up. You got some guys back, and 9 football games, you're going to have somebody banged up.
We are. Machota right now is the only guy that's not going to play. I was not sure about Marcus A. last week when we did our show. He played, got through that game healthy and clean. He's actually better, more healthy this week than he was last week. So besides Machota, we'll hold him out. He's got a little stress reaction going on his foot. A couple weeks off, and he'll be ready to go for the playoffs.
Playoffs will be at Tiger Field on November 9th, the first round. Then it'll go neutral sites for the semifinals and the state championship. We'll pre-sell those tickets next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 2 until 6 at the athletic office. There's also going to be an online option potentially through the OSSAA, but if you want to get them for sure, you can come to the athletic office between 2 and 6, Tuesday through Thursday. Looks like Moore or potentially Owasso, depending on how things shake out in the bracket. And I know as coaches, you kind of have to do this dance where you prepare for the game that you have, but you're also looking at, okay, we could play these 2 teams in the first round, and then we have to be looking at who we might see in the semifinals. So just kind of let me behind the curtain on how you guys kind of handle all that.
Yeah, in this last week there were several upsets. There was an upset on our district, and there was an upset in the other district, and so that kind of threw everything into a whirlwind. We think it's going to be either Owasso or Moore in the first round, and that'll depend on the games this Friday night. And so we're watching. We're trying to get some more film. We're trying to get some Owasso film. Try to get ready for that. Norman upset Westmore, right? So that throws a kink into what our semifinal game might be, because Norman is now on a little bit of a hot streak, and they play Santa Fe on Friday. A win or a tie there, and everything changes. So usually going into week 10. Kind of the playoff brackets are kind of set, but this one's a little different. So we're all going to jump in the car with it. We're going to play Thursday. We're all going to jump into different cars and go watch some different games and try to scout some.
I love it, Coach. Thanks for the time. We'll see you Thursday night for senior night against the Enid Plainsmen. 7 o'clock kickoff at Tiger Field. For our entire crew and Coach Alexander, this is Charlie Hannema saying good night from Broken Arrow.